Privacy is a thing of the past, it seems, anymore, and you have to work twice as hard and stay three times as vigilant just to make sure that you're not necessarily being watched by anybody that you don't necessarily want to be watched by. And it's one thing to be out in the community and have people watching you or taking notice of you. I have no problem with people looking at me with admiration or respect or anything like that. It's still a bit weird if they don't want to talk to you or anything, but or if they don't have anything to say, any questions or whatnot. But if people are just watching you and praying for your downfall, it seems it's kind of hard to be at ease. It is hard to be at ease when you feel like people are constantly watching your every single move. This has been going on for the last week. It seems that there's a amping up of this kind of energy of where people are watching the chosen ones or godly people very, very closely. And I say this not to necessarily be an alertist or anything like that, or an alarmist, but it's more about staying vigilant and making sure that there's not going to be any kind of irrational behavior from the outside world that you cannot deal with. If you cannot deal with something and you don't know how to deal with it, it's best to go to God in your own time, away from everybody else and everything, and just get the answers that you need from Him by yourself. Because there's not going to be anything that anybody else can say really that can truly make an impact on how you're supposed to move in situations where you're uncertain. People might be able to open the door for you or show you the door, but you're going to have to be the one to always walk through those doors. And be mindful, because not every single door that people try to open for you is going to be a door that leads to opportunity that is for the betterment of your well-being. Sometimes these people are just demons that are literally walking demons. There are people that are not human, like narcissists. I genuinely believe these people are possessed by demonic entities and spirits. I think that a lot of the cluster B personality types, for example, are simply just demonic personalities that have been infiltrated into the biological organism of the human being, and now that demon is operating within them. I mean, anybody that has been at least understanding of how demons operate understands that you can be fully aware of what's going on and you don't know exactly why you're doing certain things. You don't know why you're making certain actions or doing certain things, but at the same time, you're completely aware of this. Well, that's exactly what it's like to be possessed or influenced by demons. And some of these people are going to try to, maybe in your dreams perhaps, try to plant seeds of doubt or confusion or paranoia or anything like this. And it's okay to have a little bit of healthy dose of skepticism, but too much neuroticism or paranoia, it's going to lead to outcomes that are not going to be beneficial for your well-being or the people around you. Especially if you're meant to be a leader, you've got to make sure that you have that on lock, because, well, number one, anybody that is truly self-sufficient is not going to self-sabotage. They might make mistakes. They might make decisions that are not going to be everlasting, and it's because they're human. I know I've made mistakes like that. Even since I started to follow Jesus over 3 years ago now, I've made certain mistakes where it's cost me 1,000 or if not more, thousands of dollars. And it's not necessarily that I intend to do that, but it's almost like these people are watching you, hoping for you to fall, hoping that you will fail. And it's funny because every time this has happened in life where it wasn't thousands of dollars or even friends or people, because you might lose friends or family members and whatnot as well, especially if they're plotting for your downfall. Yeah, these people need to go. You don't want that kind of person in your inner circle, because you might have, out of 100 people, you might have maybe 98 really solid people. And yet one person might completely disrupt that entire organization or however you're operating. And you know how I know this? Because I've seen it happen multiple times. And even in the Regal Change Academy, we've had trolls and people that have tried to force their beliefs onto others. And this is where I say, for the Regal Change Academy, I don't care. Like, obviously, most of us are going to be followers of Christ in there, but we do have Muslims, Buddhists, Hindus, etc. And the only thing that I ask is nobody tries to force their beliefs on anybody. The second that happens, we got to talk. You get a strike, and we're going to, there's no 3 strikes, you're out, like in baseball in the Regal Change Academy. I would say about 30 to 40% of the people that join do not hold true and hold fast, because a lot of these people are just trying to watch and see what's going on. The select few, I can tell within the first meeting or two, I can tell which are the people that are actually wanting to stay and actually wanting to grow. And this is an elite spiritual academy where we are growing in mind, body, and soul each and every day. And these are going to be the kinds of people that are wanting to infiltrate that. I'm not surprised by this kind of stuff happening when we're trying to elevate spirit and truth. You see, it's not just like in the things that I do, it's the things that you do. Whatever it is that you got going on, if you're trying to build a business, or you're trying to build your family or your life, or whatever it is you're trying to consecrate and make whatever it is that you're doing filled with God's presence. If you think that there's not going to be people trying to plot on your downfall or the downfall of whatever it is you're trying to build, I would say you're probably not on the right path that you think you are. Because not even almost, nearly, I don't want to use absolutes necessarily, but I genuinely cannot think of a time when I've actually made legitimate progress and elevated in spirit and truth, and there hasn't been somebody that's tried to plot on me or watch me down, like have a downfall or something like that. It's crazy what the people and the lengths that they'll go to do this. I mean, it's just insane. So you've got to be very, very careful, because it can put you a little bit on the edge. But you know what? Especially if you're a man watching this, that's a little bit okay. All right, it's okay to be a little bit on the edge and have that masculine edge about you. It's okay to be assertive, because that means that the likelihood of anybody else completely sidelining you and or just completely scamming you or anything like that is reduced to practically zero. Now, of course, there's going to be people that will boldly lie to you, just complete bold-faced lie. And, you've got to have the discernment to do so. And sometimes God will allow you to be scammed or to be taken advantage of. And there's supposed to be a lesson in that, okay? You've got to learn why these people are doing the things that they're doing and why you fell for it. Okay, because anytime that you get swindled, for example, there's something within you that is yet to be transformed. And that's what God is wanting to do. He's wanting to show you how to transform that thing inside of you. So when these people, it's going to feel awkward. It's going to be uneasy being around these kinds of people, but that's the point. The point is not necessarily to make sure that you're all warm and fuzzy inside. God doesn't really, I mean, of course, God wants you to experience joy and peace and have that peace of mind, but God's not going to give you that just because faith is going to be the way that you get that, but God's not going to give that to you if you're just lazy and you're not doing anything. God hates laziness, okay? And I know this because I was once lazy, I was undisciplined, I was unambitious, and years ago, I remember I've told this story once or, well, maybe a few times now on this channel, but people that know me know this story. I used to be nearly 200 pounds, and I was fat and lazy, and I was playing video games, and I was eating pizza and ice cream one day, and I was playing Fortnite, and I had just barely lost. I was so close to winning, and I was just moving through the motions, and I was getting really upset. And I realized, this was 4 years ago. Like, what am I doing? Like, why am I so invested in this thing? I could keep eating pizza and ice cream and playing video games and being a loser, or I could start aiming to be a winner and start doing push-ups. And so I started doing push-ups. And of course, it was a series of events that led to that. It wasn't just a switch. Like, a lot of people think that in order to make a really positive change in your life, there's just this one moment. It's like, well, it could be that one moment that really defines the series of moments that were before that, but it takes those series of moments to lead to that moment in which you understand that, okay, there's an absolute need for change here. And that was one of the reasons why I named this channel Regal Change, is because I had to make a regal change in my life. And part of that regal change, I have on my logo the lion with a crown. And that's supposed to, in the brand's, as far as the brand symbolism goes, it's supposed to symbolize the Lion of Judah, God, being the king of the universe. So that's one of the reasons why I have that as my logo. But it's also the case that when you make any kind of drastic change in life, it takes immense courage. Okay, and courage and the willingness to sacrifice is going to be far more rewarded than how smart you are, any kind of talent that God is giving you. Now, don't get me wrong, these things are important. Hard work and intelligence and talent, that stuff is important. But you have to have internal strength. Okay, and this is why people are going to be watching you for some really weird stuff. Like, they're going to be hoping that you fail. And yeah, it's going to be weird. It's going to be uneasy. And yeah, sure, you might get a little bit neurotic, but again, that keeps you alert. That keeps you vigilant. It keeps you ready for what's next. And this is not to say that you should start planning for people to take you out necessarily, but just be aware that, yes, some people do want to take you out. I've literally received death threats from family, okay? And I will not say who it was or when it was, but I've had people tell me in my family that they're going to hunt me down and they're going to do what I did to them, which, I mean, that's another whole story in general. But I've had people tell me that they're going to do certain things and, they haven't done it. But their goal is to make you feel worthless, okay? Their goal is to make you feel like you're not valuable, all right? So even if it's coming from family or if it's coming from friends and you feel like you're being watched, well, you just might be being watched. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to completely dismantle everything that you have going for you, okay? You just need to learn how to keep it and how to protect it, all right? So with all that being said, I hope this message was useful and insightful for you. I also hope that, you take this with an open mind and a industrious spirit, and a conscientious spirit. An industrious and conscientious spirit and an open mind, I think, is going to be the most proper way to understand what I'm really saying here. And people that understand what I'm really saying here, they're gonna be able to move accordingly. But if you don't, then there's probably something that you are not yet making a step toward in your life that you're making a step toward, you're not making a step toward. And me saying this stuff is pissing you off. So I don't try to upset people. I don't try to offend people. It just so happens that the truth can sometimes offend people. So I don't know what to tell you guys. I don't know what to say. I'm just being me at this point, and I'm just doing the best that I can to relay the message that God has put on my heart to share. So with all that being said, again, peace be with you all. If you do want to join the Regal Change Academy, we have the links in the description box below for the free Discord as well as the paid community. In the free Discord, we have an ebook available for you, meditation guides and fitness guides, etc. We are starting the Stoicism class series tomorrow for the paid community. That'll be an 8-week class series in which we are meeting once a week with weekly tasks, readings, and more for the Stoics philosophy studies that we'll be doing. We'll be studying Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Epictetus. And we also have a bunch of other classes available for you. Something for everybody, really. We've got an entrepreneurial minds class. We've got meditation workshops. We've got like savage workshops for like fitness, emotional, and physical health. We've got dream interpretation, etc. All the stuff, all the building tools and building blocks you need to really set your life up and build momentum is going to be in there. We also have a weekly Bible study call as well as a weekly Regal assembly call, which is more of a general call where we talk about pretty much anything and everything. And then we have a Maps of the Psyche class that we're doing weekly as well. And we make videos for that each week, and it'll be posted in the class. That'll be basically like an additional YouTube video that is specifying on, or not necessarily a YouTube video, but you guys want to get what I'm saying here. It's going to be a specified video that is only exclusively on the paid community for Regal Change Academy. I hope everybody has a blessed day. Stay safe out there, stay alert, stay vigilant, and be blessed. May peace be with you all. Until next time.